Good evening to everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let's wait for some people to join in here so we can start. How's everybody doing? Good evening to everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you guys on this evening, on this Friday, on this important Friday for everybody that is watching. Wow, man, it is just so amazing how things change immediately when it start when the rough starts getting, it's really hard for these people to basically understand the how difficult it is and the seriousness of the situation in our country. These American people, they just take decisions from the United States of America. These people that they live in the United States of America, they just attacked people of our country of Mexico, and they don't care about our rights. They don't care about our constitutional rights. They push their narrative to another border, violating our constitutional rights, and ultimately also being prejudiced. It is amazing what they do. It is just amazing. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News and America's Voice News. God bless everybody that is watching. God bless my country of Mexico, my city of Tijuana. And also, God bless the United States of America. Let's thank God for giving us 2 legs, 2 arms, a mind that we can think, a heart that we can feel, and eyes that we can see. Good evening to everybody. This happened today. The name of Glenn Bang Herc. He is the he gave a statement today, and I will put this article right here. And he gave the statement today because he's saying that there's a lot of false news and a lot of fake news. And right here, he is basically, having comparable evidence that there's no terrorists crossing the border. A lot of these officials, also in the Trump administration, there was a lot of misunderstanding that they did not know what actually was happening in the borders. This started not only happening right now in the Biden administration, but also in the Trump administration. There was a lot of people that they did not know also what it was happening at the borders. Ultimately, we are going to say that also in the Obama administration, it was the most horrible administration that treated immigration in history. For me, it is, and for a lot of Mexicans, it is also. But right now, there's a lot of misunderstanding, and this is basically the Glenn Van Herk says he gave a statement saying that the ones to blame for the geographics, the migration geographics in our country of Mexico is the cartels. That 35, he assures, that is the intelligence of the United States of America, that he assures that 35% of the violence and everything that is fabricated in terms to violence and delinquents to the immigration factor, it's because of the cartels. And 35% of those factors are the organized crime that controls our government. So this statement was released by him yesterday. And here you see a document right here, statement by the USA BOA. It says U.S. officials reject claims terrorists trying to enter from Mexico. So this is what he said. This is the statement by that it was the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy that he was the other day at El Paso. So this has to do a lot with the statements. This has to do a lot with the statements that Glenn Van Herk gave yesterday. Clarifying that there's ultimately now everybody wants to say that there's no crisis, and that if it is a crisis, they inherited this crisis. So hold on a minute. So if you're saying that, so the Trump administration inherited not only a crisis, but a disaster from the Obama administration. If you guys want to play it that way, I'm not a right wing, left wing, Democrat, Republican, liberal. I'm just saying like that. If there's going to be a place for justifications like the Mexican president, then right now he's justifying himself for the 13 people that they got assassinated in Ciudad de Mexico, and he's saying that is the past administrations that is their fault. Right now, if you're telling me there is no crisis at the border, and if there was a crisis, it is because of what the collapse they inherited by the Trump administration. So, what is the justification for the Trump administration? It is a catastrophe what they inherited by the Obama administration signing the Globalist Compact of Immigration. So, this is what happened. U.S. Homeland Security officials are pushing back against claims that known and suspected terrorists are trying to sneak into the country of Mexico, calling such incidents very uncommon. So if the Department of Homeland Security is saying this, it is because it's 100% factual. So for everybody that is watching, I'm sorry if there's people thinking that there's massive terrorists coming into the borders. They have caught only, I believe that there was the number, and I don't want to be spreading fake news, but the number was 4. So, there's more possible, gang members and all these kind of other related, people that they have a background coming into the borders. But, when it comes to terrorists, it is also a factual. United States citizens have to trust also the Department of Homeland Security, that they're the ones that they take care of the situation in terms of the immigration. So this is what the U.S. Homeland Security is saying. Officials are pushing back against claims that known and suspected terrorists are trying to sneak into the country sneak into the country from Mexico, calling such incidents very uncommon. Republican lawmakers have been sounding alarms about what they say is growing an immigration crisis. That it is not a sounding alarm. It is an actual crisis that is occurring, and I don't know why they're denying that it's not a crisis. It is a humongous crisis that we have at the border, not with the United States of America. It's in our country of Mexico. These people, my God, these people in your Congress, they don't understand. They don't live over here. They don't see what we're seeing. They don't feel what we feel. They don't live what we live. They don't eat what we eat. They don't commonly know how violently our city has become. And this has been for the longest of time. So this is not a crisis just from right now. It has been a crisis for the longest of time. And it says Republican lawmakers have been sounding alarms about what they say is a growing immigration crisis along with the U.S. southern border. And in an interview Monday with Fox News House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, alleged terrorists were using the situation to infiltrate the country. Yes, there's a lot of people that they infiltrate in the caravans, and they're not good people. As I have said before, and I am going to continually say it 1,000 times, the caravans is the worst way to migrate. You put people on danger migrating on foot, walking through miles and miles and miles in countries because they don't have enough resources. So where's the United Nations? I'm just asking, where's the United Nations, the one that they put this globalist compact of immigration to support all these people for not migrating on foot? Now, in these caravans, there's a lot of infiltrated child traffickers, drug traffickers, human smugglers, and activists that they are inside and in the interior of these caravans. I'm a Mexican. I can speak about it because I have seen it, broadcast it, and also lived it. So they are actually saying that there is, calling such incidents very uncommon. They have, certain particular figures that they're infiltrating into the country of Mexico. And it's not just the people from Mexico or Honduras or El Salvador, McCarthy say. They are now finding people from Yemen, Iran, and Turkey, people on the terrorist watch list. Now, yes, there have been people caught in the border from Yemen, also from Iran, and also from Turkey. Yes, there have been people caught on the border. We don't know actually the record, so I'm not going to say anything about it, if they were on the terrorist watch list or not. The only thing that I can affirm is that people from the Middle East, yes, they have been arrested or detained. Let me assure the word detain in the border, trying to cross illegally to the United States of America. Also, there's large communities and all around the borders of Middle Eastern communities. I have seen people from Syria migrating in the border, and also being, I have interviewed people from Sudan, from all types of places. So yes, there's a lot of, different communities, because it's a globalist issue. It's not just a Central and South American, problem. It is a global issue. Immigration is now becoming to be a global issue, and it is a global crisis. But these people don't want to call it that because they don't want this problem to be extended into the fact that they are the ones to blame. So they are now potentially preparing themselves with the justification that it was the past administration. So It says right here, quote unquote, encounters of known and suspected terrorists our borders are very uncommon. And CBP spokesman said our border security efforts are layered and included multiple levels of rigorous screening that allowed us to detect and prevent people who pose national security or public safety risk from entering the United States of America. And then it says right here, it adds right here on the bottom, says, I am concerned, quote unquote, if one tries to come. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas told lawmakers during a hearing on Wednesday. So let's hear Alejandro Mayorkas. That is, my God, holy cow. I don't know where these people live, but the statement of Alejandro Mayorkas says that the border from the border from Mexico, it is secure. Holy cow. Holy cow with that statement. Holy cow. I don't know where this kind of individuals are practically investigating the fact that our border, it is not secure. The border of Mexico and the borders of the cities that connect with Mexico and the United States of America, I'm sorry, but it's not what you mean. It's not what you understand, and it's not what you see. Mexico has two cities on the top five for violence and delinquents in terms of violence and killings of women and kidnappings and and trafficking of children. That is Tijuana and Ciudad Juarez. Also, Acapulco, Guerrero is another one. There is a lot of violence. There is a lot of cartel distribution from there. It's kind of like an epicenter for distribution of cartels. Also, Tamaulipas is one of the cities that has become extremely dangerous. There is a border that connects to Bronzeville. Also, Juarez, also Piedras Negras, Coahuila is another border. Also, Sonora, there was just recently three officers died 2 days ago, attacked by the Sinaloa cartel in the city of Sonora, in the state of Sonora, and the city of Nogales. So, what kind of activity are you telling me that is not? You're telling me that the borders are secure. Where do you live? Where do you actually live? Where is your mindset, really, man? The borders are not secure. If they were secure, people will not be dying right now due to cartel activity and violence in our cities. There's masses of there's hundreds of people being found right now with dismembered parts in our city of Tijuana. That that's a common thing now that they're doing, putting them on suitcases and leaving them in a different part. There's bodies dropped in the middle of the highway, and it's just ridiculous what is happening. It's just so amazingly ridiculous what is happening. And you're telling me that the borders are secure. It's just I'm surprised that this man is the one that are relying on national security for immigration, and he's saying that the borders are secure in Mexico. I don't understand. And if you go and talk to a person in Tapachula, that is the border that connects to Guatemala, go and talk to a Tapachula citizen, and go and talk to a person from Ciudad Hidalgo, that is the city that connects to Guatemala. Go and talk to them. I have talked to hundreds of them, and they can absolutely tell you the whole opposite of what is happening and what is occurring right now in our country. It's just horrible. It's just completely horrible. The cartel activity, it is just the highest in possibly history. We have the most highest number of assassinations in the first 2 years of this president. That is 85,000 murders in the first 2 years of this president. And you got this guy, Alejandro Mayorkas, right here. And I will play the video right here for you guys to see. Let me see if it plays. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Do you believe that right now there's a crisis at the border? I think that the answer is no. I think there is a challenge at the border that we are managing. Holy cow. Holy cow. Let me just return this video. Holy cow, people. So the situation at the border with massive amounts of children coming, unaccompanied children, that a lot of them are being trafficked. This is a really delicate subject because a lot of them, I have seen it. And the massive coyote and also child trafficking and also human smuggling business that is occurring right now in, in our country, the massive cartel activity and the wars between the two cartels right now, that they are the top ones in our country, that is the CGNG and the Sinaloa cartel, plus other organizations that I will top to what Mr. Mayorkas is saying right here, that a business leader from our country by the name of Jose Medina Mora, that is the leader of Coparmex, one of the leaders of Coparmex, he said today that the number one issue right now in our country of Mexico is security, because a lot of businessmen, that there are international investors that they are located in our borders, are fleeing. They're running away from our country. They're getting out. And this is amazing that they are calling it not a crisis right now with this influx of migrants. Why they're not calling it a crisis is real simple. Number one, they're calling it a crisis because they don't want to put a burden on their process of right now of immigration, and they're possibly they're working to make this work. Number two, if they are going to call it a crisis, they're going to justify that it was the Trump administration and it was not them. So they inherited a crisis. So the Trump administration, they can actually justify themselves of what they inherited from the Obama administration, that it was the most massive deportation of Latinos and Mexicans in history. Plus the factor that you fed the cartel with Fast and the Furious, and you fed guns to the cartel. So you implemented more violence in our country, creating another war between, you fed the CGNG and also the Sinaloa cartel, and you created a war in our country under the administration of Enrique Peña Nieto that it was horrible. Horrible, the insecurity and the levels of kidnappings that they were in the administration of Enrique Peña Nieto. That it has been all the time over here. All the time. People that they live in the United States and people that they have come over here and they live for like 4, 5, or 6 years in Mexico, and they think that they know everything by living 4, 5, 6 years. Oh my God, I lived 4, 5, 6 years already in Mexico. I already know everything. I already know how it operates. I will go back to the US and I will just type from there. No, you don't know. You were not born and raised over here. You don't know actually how this has been operating since we are mentally traumatized, since we are known, so we have conscience, 5, 6 years old, and we see this activity, and it is horrible how this activity, it is traumatizing into our lives. Seeing all of this kidnappings, the trafficking, all of this stuff, it is so traumatizing. So now you have right here a man that is saying that it's not a crisis. Again, it is a challenge, and the word, they use the word challenge, and it is so insulting to people that they are right now waiting for the refugee and asylum case, to listen to this man and to listen to Jen Psaki and to listen to the Biden administration saying that it's a challenge, and lives of people are challenged. It is like it's possibly it's como un, in Spanish you say es un reto. It is not a challenge. It is a crisis that is a challenge to you, because this has already escalated into one person opening his mouth and saying that he was going to let in 125,000 people, and he hasn't let in nobody, and he has let in by quantities of really small, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he promised all these people that he was going to let in, and it's not happening. So what you provoked is what you say. Let's hear this guy out.
Migrant children crossing the border every single day. CBP projected a peak of 13,000 unaccompanied children in the month of May, according to a report in Axios. What is being done between now and then when you're able to implement all the things that you're talking about that you say will take time?
Let me answer that question with tremendous.
Now, I can tell you, body language tells a lot. when you are getting uncomfortable. Body language tells a lot when you are getting uncomfortable. This it is this body language of standing and moving and say like, okay, you're challenging me right now. That is a challenge for you to answer. This is a challenge. Now, this body language, it is just uncomfortable, trying to understand what they are telling you. And after you hear this, you're just going to assimilate where their mind is at.
Pride. The men and women of the Department of Homeland Security are working around the 7 days a week to ensure we do not have a crisis at the border, that we manage the challenge as acute as the challenge is, and they are not doing it alone. This is a challenge that the communities, the non-governmental organizations, the people who care for individuals seeking humanitarian relief all understand it is an imperative. Everyone understands what occurred before us, what we need to do now, and we are getting it done.
Respectfully, sir, though.
Okay. Now, I hope that what he's saying is true. I don't judge this man. I believe that he's trying to do the best that he can. And I believe that he's trying to do the best that he can to his capabilities. And I believe him that he doesn't want a border crisis. That he doesn't want a border crisis, because if he has a border crisis, that's, practically his responsibility to control it. What I don't believe is that they are not assimilating already that there is a big problem and they're categorizing it as a challenge. That is insulting for me, for the lives that they are waiting patiently over here and all the migrants that they're trying to get to his border. And practically what, is more infuriating is that they don't take responsibility for their words. He must know what his president said in the past. One let in some amount of migrants, and now the process is being detained. And you saw the statements from President Joe Biden yesterday, on Wednesday, I believe so, when he said that migrants, please stay home and stay in your countries and stay in your cities. So if he's saying that, practically we understand that, he's retracting where he's retracting from what he offered. But the majority of these people that they're migrants, they are here since 2-3 years ago, and a lot of them, they have been having problems with the stay in Mexico policy. That is another problem that occurred on the administration of Donald Trump, that a lot of the migrants are not accepting that stay in Mexico policy was a problem. And it was a problem because supposedly, that detained their process to practically obtain their refugee and asylum case in the United States of America. If we're going to go by problem, we're going to accept the fact that in the Obama administration, they deported thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So you provoke a mass deportation and you provoke a mass crisis by signing a globalist compact and bringing them back. So you provoked the problem since the last administration, and this problem would not be generated if you wouldn't sign the globalist compact of immigration. So these are the statements from Mallorca. So let me put play again, and there's like 40 seconds left on this video.
Your predecessor, Jay Johnson, he said that 1,000 illegal border crossings a day constitutes a crisis, that it overwhelms. We're at between 3,000 and 4,000 now, according to. How is this not a crisis?
I have explained that quite clearly. We are challenged at the border. The men and women of the Department of Homeland Security are meeting that challenge. It is a stressful challenge, and that is why, quite frankly, we are working as hard as we are, not only in addressing the urgency of the challenge, but also in building the capacity to manage it and to meet our humanitarian aspirations and execution of the president.
I completely agree with the last part that he said. That's I'm not going to play parts right here, but he's trying to do the best that he can at his capabilities and his capacities and what his authority, uh, you know, he is about to do. I believe that the Department of Homeland Security is trying to do the best that they can because a lot of the Department of Homeland Security is part of the past administration that is the Trump administration. So it is kind of like the same administration in itself, but it has individuals that they are leading now the past administration. That is Mr. Mayorkas right here. The only thing that I'm not accepting it is the fact that they are calling it a challenge. It is not it is not correct. It is not the correct terminology to call it a challenge, sir. It is not a challenge. People's lives are not a challenge. In this situation at the border, for me and for a lot of people, it is a humanitarian crisis. They were calling it a humanitarian crisis in the administration of Trump, and now that is the administration of Biden, nobody's calling it a humanitarian crisis. It is a crisis. You have almost 13,000 children that they are just said right there. For you to call it a crisis, the reporter and the journalist said for 1,000 crossings per day, that is a crisis, and you're getting between 3,000 to 4,000 per day. So how is not a crisis? The problem is that they don't want to accept that terminology, crisis. So it is like, they transform it, they pampered and they pander the terminology so we can just calm down and say, you know what, this is not a crisis and this is something that we inherited from the past. So they are going to justify exactly like they do right here in Mexico in our government with AMLO. They justify continuously by saying as governments, AMLO always says that it was 80 years of bad government. It is because of that I inherited all of this and I cannot control. So what's the purpose of the Mexican people putting you right there? They put you right there to fix a problem. They didn't put you right there to be justifying yourself. And at every press conference saying that it was the past government, the past government, the past government. The people need solutions. And what is happening right now, when you see people hungry at the camps, not only right here in Tijuana in the camps, but you see people hungry around all the camps in the borders, there is a crisis, people. It is not just it's not just the people that they're migrating. It's the Mexican people also. Our Mexican people in the borders, we're having a crisis, an economical collapse that happened with COVID. It is not only the migrant crisis, sir. It is also the crisis that this COVID and also all these regulations and restrictions that are happening, it has been affecting the borders. It is jobs, it is just security reasons, it is just the enormous cartel activity, insecurities, kidnappings, killings of women, radical activities that are happening in our cities, in our borders, plus at the fact that this migration factor, it is something that it interrupts the process of migrants that they were trying to migrate in the process through the immigrational system in another way. And it is turning into a crisis. You got to be transparent with this. And like somebody said, let's be fair. This is not being fair. You're categorizing it as a challenge because you're saying that it's a challenge because you're going to justify that it was because of the past administration. Now, let me turn to another subject right here. This is Mr. Mayorkas. It is Secretary of Immigration or something like that. And this is the opinion for everybody that is watching. This is the opinion of Jose Medina Mora. And it's really important that I put you this because this is the opinion of a Mexican businessman that he's saying what is going on. Somebody's asking if is AMLO helping the Mexican people that were affected by COVID-19. He's trying, but it's not enough. And he was not prepared for this COVID. And he said that we were going to be prepared, and he was not. He said that it was never going to hit our country, and it hit. So it's just a repercussion over his mistakes. So this happened, and this is as a response to what Mr. Mayorkas is saying out of the situation. Apparently, there's a lot of people that they are involved with difference of opinion. And the difference of opinion right now, it is between the United States, government and the Mexican government. And this is right now a statement that it was released by Coparmex. Coparmex is an organization in Mexico, is a governmental organization in Mexico that practically gives a statement of the government and tells the government of Mexico how the levels of insecurity have grown. This is for Mr. Mayorkas that is saying there's no border crisis. It's not just the border crisis, it's a trickle effect, sir. It's how the domino effect has on the borders. It's not only the crisis of migrants, it's the crisis of the irregular, entrance, is the crisis of poverty, is the crisis, economical crisis, is the crisis of cartel crisis that is occurring right now. It is the predominant right now, the dominance of the cartel organizations over our country. Even the person from your government, Glenn Van Herk, said it. 35% of our country is being controlled by the organized crime. So I don't know how in the hell we are not calling the situation the border a crisis. So this is released by Jose Medina Mora, that is one of the businessmen in Mexico, that he's saying that the criminal organizations, there are almost more than 19 criminal organizations in our country. And Coparmex convokes the government to unite so they can stop the insecurity. Here are the the numbers right now. And the numbers right now in our country, it is right here, as you see how it has escalated. And it is on 2019 and 2020. Look at this. This is 2013 to 2014, 2019 to 2020. And right now you have the violence of assault with a deadly weapon to a business. It goes to 145,517. With assault with the grand theft, it goes, I believe that is 56,678. And right now, homicides, it is the highest since 2007. That is 33,626 to this year, 2019 and 2020. It is amazing, the numbers. It's just amazing, the numbers. And it says right here, this organization led by Jose Medina Mora, he said that due to the COVID pandemic and the insecurity, it has gone into critical levels. And they need to put attention as a priority to recover the economy and also the tranquility of business people, and also ultimately of the Mexican people. And it said that, in this first years of this administration, they have registered 69,199 victims of homicide. The ones that he qualified the worst in this the worst in the 6 years, next to Enrique Peña Nieto, that it was the past president who Enrique Peña Nieto was part of Fast and the Furious. And he says right here, our calling is to create an alliance with authorities and social service and also the sector, the business sector, to together fight the insecurity that is on the dispose of this the security of the sector of security and also the protection of the citizens. So this practically tells you that it's not just a border crisis, sir. It is an actual crisis that is occurring in our country. That this has a domino effect, the cartel activity, the homicides, and now you are putting migrants to migrate to a country that is not secure, that is Mexico. I'm not saying stop the migration. Everybody deserves a right to migrate. But I'm saying the way that they are migrating, that this is in these caravans, it is incorrect. You're risking people's lives. And the organization that it needs to be held accountable, it is the United Nations, because they are not giving nothing for the migrants to migrate securely from 1A to point Z to point A. That is point C, Tapachula, to point A. That is the borders. If you are going to be saying that you want to create a better pathway for migrants, how are you going to put pathway to migrants when businessmen from Mexico are saying that it's the number one thing that we need to focus is on security, and you need to know what is happening in your neighbor country where they are migrating to. You need to know how the book Art of War. The book Art of War, if you haven't read it, I read it like 3 times already. The book Art of War teaches you how your enemy is doing, or how your not even your enemy, your friend, your neighbor, your whatever you want to call it, your cousin, your uncle. You want to study how they're doing. You want to study if they're suffering, if they're going through a bad place, if they want food, if they want water, what is their necessity, if they're feeling comfortable, if they're succeeding, if they're successful, if they're not. This it is a clear example that the recent administration is not studying what is happening in Mexico, and they're failing to do that. And I think that if this is working about teamwork and working with the administration that is current administration in the United States of America, they're not working with Mexico as a teamwork. And they need to work right now as a teamwork to analyze the situation in the borders of Mexico with the United States of America. That is the thing that they're failing to do so, because you're pushing the narrative of welcoming everybody, and now you're saying to stop, but you already provoked caravans. You already provoked the people flood the border. You already provoked the people that they were outside of their comfort zone, camping out at a place that is insecure. So why you have to understand the situation at every country, and the situation in Mexico right now, it is not good. Our country is not doing good economically, is not doing good in security, is not doing good in investments, is not doing good in COVID, is not doing good right now in immigration. The government of Mexico has failed, and it has been irresponsible with migrants because they signed the Globalist Compact of Immigration, and they failed to comply with everything that they needed to do so. So this ultimately, they have to be fixing this. And you cannot be saying, Mexico is doing, my God, he's doing phenomenal. Mexico is doing great. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a matter of fact, they're about to do a protest on Saturday to the governmental palace of Mexico to demand AMLO a protest of peace, it is called. And everybody's going to be wearing white to go to the governmental palace and tell AMLO, we want peace in our country. We don't want no violence. So if you're not even talking about a border crisis and not mixing things up, it's not only the unaccompanied children, it's not only the enormous trafficking of children, the trafficking of humans, the enormous insecurity at the borders. It's all that is behind. So you got to study the country to see if it is an economical crisis or if it is a border crisis or not. And if you don't want to categorize it as a border crisis, it is okay. Don't categorize it as a border crisis. As a humanitarian crisis, the left and also the Democratic Party in the administration of Trump, they were calling it. And I remember all activists right here in Tijuana saying, this is a humanitarian crisis. This is a humanitarian crisis. This is a humanitarian crisis. And now that is Biden administration, what, the humanitarian crisis went away? What the hell? What did it change? So now it's a challenge to fight the humanitarian crisis that it was provoked and that it was inherited by Donald Trump. That is your justification? Because I'm not seeing what your mind said. Because let me understand the logic. Let me understand this logic. If that is your justification, for God's sake, how embarrassing and how irresponsible it might be to play with people's lives and say it's a humanitarian crisis a year ago, but you enter 2021, it is not a humanitarian crisis, it is a challenge. Holy cow. So if it is a humanitarian crisis, please don't call it a challenge. Please, I don't know, look for another terminology that is more explanatory and it's more expandable to what is really happening. And it is just actually, that you can just say, okay, he's, and I won't judge the Department of Homeland Security that apparently they're doing a great job on trying to stop this, and trying to control this, because I believe this, man, Mayorkas, that there's agents and there's people and there's the Department of Homeland Security and all these organizations that are working 24/7. They have always worked 24/7. They have always done this magnificent work, since past administrations. The Department of Homeland Security, I cannot say. But when it comes to declarations and saying, it's a challenge. It's just an insult. And right here, businessman from Mexico, they're telling you that the number one thing that is happening in our country of Mexico, it is insecurity. So you need to analyze ultimately that if it's security, the number one situation in our country, you need to understand that your country might be in a trickle effect, in a domino effect for this security issue. So let's just, this is how oh my God. This is one of the most barely well-known journalists in the country of the United States, in the country of Mexico, I'm sorry. This post was from his page. And I will basically I will put this post right here for you guys. You guys can see this post. It was done by the most for me, he's one of the most important journalists in our country, and he's more carried to the left. I will tell you. He's a conservative, but he's more carried to the left. And now he's running as an independent, and he was running as an independent in our country of Mexico, and I truly admire this man. But sometimes I don't go with what he says, but he's the most intelligent and elaborated and most articulated journalist that we have in our country, next to Carlos Loren de Mola and other journalists. But let me just expand right here. This picture. Pedro Ferriz de Con says, today, when the president was questioned about the federal police officers, where they were 13 dead in the state of Mexico, the president of Mexico argumented that all of this that happened, it was the fault of the past administrations and their failed intent to fight the corrupt narco cartel. So this is what I'm talking about. This is specifically what I am talking about. We cannot be justifying ourselves with the past governments. It does not even matter who it is in our government. If it is a left wing, if it is a right wing, if it is an independent, if it is who it was. And in the past, if he was a left wing, if he was a right wing, if he was an independent, who it was. This man is the most coward man that I known as president in history. This is the most coward man that I known in history. This man right here. He never admits to the reality and the truth of the problem. Never. He never says it's because we failed to do so. He never says it is my fault. It is the fault of my government. We have not done the job right. All the time, he justifies with the past governments. All the time, justification that it was the past governments is what he inherited. It kind of like resembles to somebody, huh? It is the past government that we inherited. It is because what we inherited, we cannot fix it. And it is because of the past politicians and the people that they are paid to do their job with the past corrupt politicians that they don't get their money anymore, that they're mad and they're criticizing me. This is why, we cannot do it. You are the president of Mexico, for God's sake. You are the president of Mexico. You're the leader of this nation. You think that a person that has lost, because this is the justification of him right now, in terms to the assassinations towards women and the assassinations towards and the kidnappings towards children and the trafficking of children, he is saying the assassinations of women is an attack by the Conservative Party. And it is not me, and it's not my organization. And the assassinations towards women have existed in the 80 plus years. So that makes it okay. That makes it okay right now to happen. And you're justifying that the 80 plus years of the assassinations towards women that they have existed before, it is okay in your administration. It is okay because it has been happening since the past, and we're trying to fix it. But it was a problem that we inherited. But right now, it's not a problem. Ridicule, man. It's so ridicule. This. It's just horrible. This is just horrible. How can you be such a coward and be justifying yourself? Are you here to fix a problem that was not fixed before, or are you here to justify yourself and continuously say that it was because of the past governments? What are you here for? If exactly what is happening to the United States of America, hypothetical, if the Biden administration is blaming the Trump administration for the migrant situation that they inherited, are you here to fix the situation, or are you here to blame the past administration? Aren't you here to fix the situation if there was a mistake that it was done before? People want solutions. They don't want justifications. People want solutions. They don't want justifications. They don't want, oh, you know what? It was because of the past administration. It was because of the past governments. They don't want that. They're tired of that. They want solutions right now. They want answers right now by your mouth, saying, yes, we failed to do so. This is what we are going to do. This is how we are going to attack this. This is this is the challenge. This is, if it is a challenge, this is how we are going to plan this out. And this is how in the long run, I don't know, in the short run, and in 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, 8 months, whatever you want to say, we will fix it. But they don't want you to be contemplating all the time that you're blaming the past governments. So you're going to run the whole 6 years blaming the 80 years of past governments. I don't know if the Biden administration is going to be exactly doing the same, blaming the past administration of Trump. And then, the next one is going to be blaming this and blaming that. This is not about a political party. It's how politicians are working right now, man. How politicians are blaming past administrations. And if they're blaming past administrations, for God's sake, fix it, Dan. Fix it. You're here to fix things. You're here not to justify and not run away with justifications. You're here to fix things. Horrible. Horrible. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News and America's Voice News. How's everybody doing? God bless everybody that is watching. Thank you so much for watching me. It's amazing how, as a Mexican citizen, sometimes you get, not attacked, but you get, in a way, punished by people that they want to do harm to you. But it's our obligation to move forward and continue to work, because that is what we're going to do. I'm in my country of Mexico. I'm a bilingual broadcaster. I'm sorry. And I know another language, which I'm about to start using in this year. And I'm about to start hitting another audience with another language. So I'm sorry for being bilingual and for being open about the enormous trafficking of children, irregularities in this immigration situation. Not only that, the communist agenda that is existing in our country, how the insecurities with violence and delinquency and the abuse of women in our country, that is horrible. Talking about that, I don't know if later, tomorrow, I don't know if tomorrow we are going to have a show with Athena Ives. That she is a retired. I have invited her in the past. Athena, it is a retired combat veteran. She has dedicated herself to fight against the abuse to children and towards women. And I was talking to her yesterday, and I was explaining to her an experience that I encounter. And it's the first experience, and I want to share it with you guys. The first experience that I have encountered with the migrant situation with the child, that it broke my heart. And I kneeled down, and in a way, some some tear started coming out of my eye, because it was really hard to look at that. It was, I believe that it's not too much to explain, but it was a really, to see a mother and a child crossing a river, and to tell your son that you're going to some place that is going to be fun. You're mentally abusing your kid. But it's so sad to see that it's just draining. And it hurt me so much to see that, man. And this has to stop. This has to stop. I don't know what we need to do to provide better life for third world class countries. I am in a third world class country, and now they're qualifying it as a second class world class country. It is because there's too much of a third world class country that we are now classified as second. I don't know what we need to do. It's so hard and so confusing. It is just so hard and so confusing. And when I saw that at Yuma, it really moved me, man. And I said to myself, man, I have said some things, but I'm always have been a guy that is a pro migrant guy. I'm a migrant myself. I'm always been for migration, for a new, immigration reform for everybody, to get a better opportunity, not only to the States, to Canada, to France, to Italy, to Germany, whatever you want to please and do your dream, and achieve your goals in your own country, whatever you want to do. But I have been always a pro-migrant, legal and documented way, until, the caravan started coming. And I said, this is not good. This is not okay. This is not a way to migrate, and the violence that it comes with it, and all that kind of stuff. And that image is going to stay in my head for possibly the rest of my life. And a lot of things changed my heart since that moment. And I believe that it's the time for us to step to the plate and start helping. Athena Ives, and possibly myself, we're going to start something that we have been talking since yesterday, and possibly today. I need to talk to my manager about it. But I was not, feeling it, because it's a lot of responsibility to do so. But, we're going to start doing something about it. But I will have her on my platform again, so she can explain to you. We're going to have talks about different countries and how the abuse, sex abuse of a child, the abuse of a child, the work, work abuse of a child. And right now that she's seeing all the fluency of unaccompanied children right now, she can elaborate more of how the system is working and how they're pushing this systematic way. Athena Ives is a retired combat veteran, Marine combat veteran, that she has dedicated herself to, to rescue, and not only to rescue children, but also to foment an environment of information of abuse towards children. She's a retired combat veteran that I believe that, we have a great relationship, a great friendship, a great friendship. And ultimately now we need to step it up a notch a little bit. And, and we need to communicate about this reality of the problems. We're going to have also another guest, which, it's going to have a lot of information for you guys on every topic that is the children, the minors, and also the women that they're being trafficked and abused. And this, humongous multi-billion business that exists in the world that everybody wants us to stay quiet. No, que chingados, tan locos. Pues si quiénes se creen para estarme diciendo lo que tengo que hacer. So, you know, it is really important for us to have these kind of guests and also to start working together so we can start attacking the problem and informing reality news that is always boots on the ground. God bless you all. I will address a couple of questions from the audience. If you guys want to ask me a question, go ahead. I will answer your questions. I'm going to drink a little bit of ocean spray juice right here. If you guys want to ask me a question, go ahead. Thank you so much for the comments. Miss Jerry Lee, how you doing? Send you a big hug. Saying Athena is great. Yeah, she's great. Saying hi to Michelle Almodova. How you doing, Miss Michelle? Miss Joy Sydney, what flavor is your ocean spray? Is a cranberry. Why can't the Mexican people build their own wall? I don't know. There's a really deep question, but the only thing that I can tell you is that we need more border security. That's clear. There's a question that is being asked repeatedly, and when they ask those questions repeatedly is because they want a statement from my own mouth, so I can compromise myself. I know how you guys work, so I will retract myself from answering your question, and I know you're spamming that question continuously. There's a question right here. Does your president want a wall? I believe that more than a wall in Mexico, we need security. More than a wall, we need security right here. We need to fight the corrupt system, and it's it's the organized crime control our lives and controls our country. So we need to fight that more than a wall. Really, a wall for us, it is. For the United States, it is a priority. It was a priority. For us, it's not. I have said, it's not a priority. We need to fight our poverty. We need to fight the corrupt politicians, the poverty. Also, implement jobs. That's also to fight the organized crime, to fight the corruption. So it's more. There's more things over here that they're a priority than that. Really. Lisa Larson, how you doing, Lisa? Oscar, how long have you been doing your great reporting? I've been reporting on this for 3 years, but I've been a broadcaster for several years now. I've been working on the radio for several years now. I was a boxing broadcaster, which I will be doing again, possibly next week. I will be doing again. I will be broadcasting only, but I will be doing again. If you guys like to join me on boxing night, I will be doing again for you guys to see. Oscar, is there any way to reunite the children with their parents? This is so sad. Well, they're trying to do that. And really, they're trying to do that. And it is really sad. And they're trying to do that. But a lot of these children are being used for the number of fake families. The Department of Homeland Security registered 4,800 in 2018 and 5,800 in 2019. 5,800 in 2018 and 4,800 in 2019. So it's just hard, and it's really deep to explain because the geographics of all of this, it is just horrific. Will you be able to get into shelters or whatever Biden's calling them in the United States? No. No. No, that's I go into the United States and I travel and I show the borders, but I don't. No, I don't plan to go in there. I believe that the work is over here in our country of Mexico. Another question. The feed is going real fast and it has a delay for people that they're, possibly for people that are possibly, asking why Oscar takes a little bit of time. There's a delay on the live feed. It is not my fault. I apologize. It is, it's just the way it works. So, if there's another question, last couple of questions, I'll be glad to answer. Oh, there's a comment right here that is, imagine the world. What would the world be without politicians, corruption, and cartels? Oof. My God. Wow. I don't know. I don't know because I live in a place where it has the three of them. So I don't know what it would be. I think that it would be beautiful. I remember one thing when I was in El Paso. I was with my boy Anthony. We were at a 7-Eleven. I don't remember the avenue, but it was late. It was around like 11 o'clock at night. And I was in his car. And he said, "You want a drink?" I said, "No, I'm all right." So we went inside the 7-Eleven for a drink. I was waiting outside, and on the corner, across the 7-Eleven, there is a park. And there were kids running around and a bicycle and a skateboard and all that kind of stuff, playing around. And I was shocking. It was strange for me. It was, what the hell is going on? Where are the parents? How irresponsible there is. Where is the responsibility of the parents? Why they're letting these kids out at this time? Then Anthony came in and I'm like, "Bro, what's going on? I see kids over there in the corner. It's 11 o'clock at night. How can you? Something can happen." We're in El Paso, one of the finest cities. Secure over here, brother. Don't worry about it. For me, that was shocking because I never had that as a child, and as a growing young man, I never had it. As an adult, of course, never had it. And ultimately, now that the things are worse, my kid doesn't have that. So we don't grow with that, with that atmosphere. We don't grow up with that. A lot of people that they're here from the United States of America, that they live over here, they don't know me. They don't know where I grew up. They don't know how bad it was grow up in the neighborhoods back then. So it is, different, the mentality of over here than in some places in the United States of America, that it's late and you can go out for a walk. I was talking to a beautiful patriot from the United States of America. Her name is Suni Midachild. And, Suni is a Black American. And, as she was explaining something the other day, she's stationed in Japan because her husband is in Japan, doing his service as a military. So she's a military wife. And she was telling me, "No, Blue, sometimes I get out right here at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and we just can go out for a walk. 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, you will see the old people going out for a walk late at night." And I'm like, wow, man, that is amazing. Wow. So I asked her, how does that feel? How does that feel? I just want to get a little bit of that feeling. How does that feel? It must be amazing to wake up in the morning or to be going up late at night and to tell your son, hey, you want to go out for a walk? It must be amazing because over here, 9 o'clock at night or when it goes dark, hey, everybody get home. It's really difficult. It's really hard outside. It's insecure. So it must be amazing that he's like, you're kidding me. You don't have that? I'm like, no, that doesn't exist over here. It does not exist. We cannot have that. So, it's the things that you guys need to value more of your country, man. It's the things that you need to value more in your country because those kind of things, you have them in your country. And a lot of other people from other countries, we don't have it. We don't have that kind of stuff. So value what you have, man. Value it. Don't take it for granted. Excuse me. Value all the things that you have. God bless you guys. I'm about to leave. Have a beautiful Friday. And have a beautiful weekend. Possibly tomorrow we will be live. And I just told you which person I will be live. Talking about the child abuse and sex trafficking that is occurring and child trafficking that is occurring right now and unaccompanied minors and how this works possibly. We have a guest that possibly we're going to have a guest that she's going to speak on the fact and she's going to speak about it. And we're going to, potentially hit right on the spot where we need to do something about it. So somebody's saying, Oscar, move to Idaho. You'll have that. Where's Idaho, by the way? Says no, that's Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio. It sounds kind of like Idaho. But I don't know where Idaho is. They're saying Arkansas is beautiful also. There's places in Arizona that are really nice. I don't know those places. Idaho, I don't know where it's at. But God bless you guys. Follow my partner, Real Anthony Owedo. You can follow him at Facebook, YouTube, Partner Orbeast, and also Telegram. You can follow him. You can follow me at YouTube as Oscar Blue. Subscribe to my channel right here. A lot of people are saying I can't comment, but you need to subscribe to the channel. If you want to comment and if you want to go and see the live feeds and get notifications, you need to go back, give it a like. There's the little bell right there, bang, bang, and then follow the channel. That's the problem. If you want to get notifications, if you want to get, the messages, and if you want to get in there into the live feed, you got to, subscribe to the channel. So subscribe to the channel. And also you can follow me on Facebook as Oscar L. Blue and also on Instagram as Oscar L. Blue and my channel and Telegram as Oscar L. Blue. God bless you all. Have a beautiful Friday. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, peace and love. Because always, your country's first. God bless.